All right, we're gonna do some palpations. We have Caden here as our patient. So we're gonna start with the clavicle. His clavicle is this right here, this bony prominence. There's two ends of it. There's the sternal end and the acromial end. So the sternal end attaches to the manubrium, which is right here, and it's the sternoclavicular joint. And then there is the acromial end, which attaches to the acromial process of the shoulder right here. I just described the manubrium, which is this middle section of the two clavicles. Now we have the scapula. So the scapula, there is the acromion process, like I just mentioned, on the shoulder right here. And then the medial border, which comes around here. And then the lateral border, which is laterally on his body. And then the inferior angle is below. It's those two borders coming together. The spine of the scapula is this bridge that goes through the scapula like this. And then lastly, the coracoid process is right here in his arm right here. Next we have the humerus. So the head of the humerus is up here. So the humerus is this whole arm bone right here. The greater tubercle is on this side and the lesser tubercle is on this side. And then in between there's this inner tubercular groove. And then the neck is down here and the shaft is like that. Now we're gonna start with the muscles. So the deltoid is the shoulder muscle. It aids in shoulder flexion, extension, and all those. So this is our anterior portion right here, which aids in flexion of the shoulder and abduction of the shoulder and horizontal adduction. Then we have the lateral, which is the middle part, which is these parts, which aids in abduction of the shoulder. And then the posterior part, which is the back fibers, which does shoulder abduction, horizontal abduction, and extension. Then we have the pectoralis major. That's these. So we have the upper fibers, which are up here, and the lower fibers, which are down here. The upper fibers do flexion, internal rotation, horizontal adduction, and the lower fibers do internal rotation, horizontal adduction, and extension. If you turn around, Caden, we could do your latissimus dorsi, which is these. People often refer to them as lats. So that does extension, adduction, and internal rotation. Now we have the teres major, which is right here. That aids in extension, adduction, and internal rotation. And then we have the shoulder girdle muscles. So the serratus anterior, that is like this. It's like right here. That aids in protraction of the scapula and upward rotation. So protraction is like this. And then upward rotation is when you raise your two arms like that. So that's what the serratus anterior does. And then the pectoralis minor, that also like comes around here. That helps with shoulder protraction again. Downward rotation, which is when his hinges come down. And then depression, which is when his shoulders go down. We have the subclavius, which pretty much only does depression, which is when his shoulders come down again. The trapezius, we have three sections of that. There's the upper trapezius, which is like around the neck area. That aids in elevation and upward rotation. Elevation we did already, which is just when he shrugs his shoulders up. And upward rotation is when he lifts his hands up. The middle trapezius is around right here, the middle part of the back. That does elevation as well, upward rotation as well, and retraction. So retraction is when he puts his shoulders back. And then the lower section of the trapezius, which is more down here, that does retraction again, which is when his shoulders go back, depression, and downward rotation, which is just when his arms go down. And then, almost done. The rhomboids, there is the major and the minor, which are just in here. And they do elevation, downward rotation, and retraction. And the minor doesn't do downward rotation. And then last but not least, we have the levator scapulae, which comes up from the neck. It's kind of like right here. And that just does elevation. Sweet, thank you.